my God, that looked like it hurt. I've been getting this question a lot at the office from self-employed individuals, men and women. If they purchase a handgun for business, for security purposes, can they write off and depreciate that handgun? And the ammo and going to the range, can they write that off? Especially if they're in their all-cash business, like a hair salon and so on and so forth. And the simple answer is yes, you can write off the value of your firearm that you purchased for business, and you can't write off the expenses for the ammo if you qualify for IRC 162. What does that mean? Well, it sounds like gibberish. IRC 162A says as long as the expenses is ordinary and necessary, they can be deductible. In this video, we're going to talk about IRC 162A when it comes to firearms. This is Carlos Fraser from Tax Code Tips. Let's jump into it.
Be strong.
All right, so there was a taxpayer that lived in Chicago, Illinois, Mr. Sapp. And what Mr. Sapp did is he sold insurance. He had his own company. It's called Francis Sapp Insurance. And he sold general liability insurance, fire insurance, workers' compensation, and I think I started to say general liability, but he sold insurance in Chicago. In addition to that, his business location was inside a housing complex. Red flag, by the way. Chicago's a red flag because Chicago's rough around the edges. So he has his business location inside a housing complex, and he lived in that housing complex. To make matters worse, the housing complex had a murder, an unsolved murder. So this guy basically doodles where he eats. He has his business location there. He also lives there. So he wanted to go purchase a firearm. So Mr. Sapp went out and purchased 4 firearms. One for the office, one for the car, one for his house, and one he held on person. And he had those for protection because someone just got killed in his business location and where he lives. He felt insecure. He was ready for the ops. Whoever was coming was going to get shot up. In addition to that, Mr. Sapp testified in tax court that sometimes he has to go and dispute some insurance claims in Chicago. So there's some insurance claims where he can't pay out and people may be a little bit upset. So he carries his weapon with him. And to add on to the fact pattern, Mr. Sapp registered to be a deputy sheriff in his county. And he went to training programs to be a deputy sheriff. So I know what you're thinking. The fact pattern has to be that this is ordinary and necessary. Sad truth is, it's not. The tax court played him to the left. The words are verbatim. The tax court said, a handgun simply does not qualify as ordinary and necessary business expense for an insurance agent. Even a bold and brave Wyatt Earp type with fast draw who is willing to risk his injury or death in the service for his clients. We regard such expenses as extraordinary rather than ordinary to the usual customary business of insurance agent. Nor are they necessary, i.e. appropriate and helpful in development or protection of his business. Indeed, the petitioner's argument for deductibility strikes us as erroneous and just plain nonsense. Consequently, we hold that the amount spent for guns and ammunition are personal expenses which are non-deductible under Section 262. So I know you're thinking, Carlos, you just told me yes. So it is if it is ordinary and necessary in your business. If you are a security consultant, if you provide security or private security and you purchase a firearm, that is ordinary and necessary. It's ordinary in your business and it's necessary. What the IRS is saying and the tax court is if you're a self-employed individual and it's not in the line of your business, it is not ordinary and is not necessary, you cannot take that deduction. This is Carlos Fraser from Tax Code Tips. Thanks you for listening. If you have any other questions, please put it down below. I'd love to answer them. Oh no, don't do it. Don't do it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, girl. Oh, I know what's going to happen here. Put it down. Put it down. Walk away from the gun. That ain't funny.
Be strong.